The realm. Do you know what the realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agree to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones video. Today I want to talk about Bran Stark, the Night King, and ultimately how their conflict comes to an end. Most of the main characters in Game of Thrones are in a constant battle over who they think should be seated on the Iron Throne, but Bran Stark and the Night King have been engaging in a battle of their own, which does involve a lot of dark magic. Even though Jon Snow is the one that's leading the fight against the Night King, Bran Stark is the one who seems to have the closest connection to him. In fact, Bran Stark might be the only character that has been touched by the Night King and is still able to talk about it. Game of Thrones has made it very clear that Bran Stark and the Night King share some very similar powers. Ever since Bran was marked by the Night King in Season 6, this has made their connection with one another even deeper. This allowed the Night King to pinpoint Bran Stark's exact location, and ever since then, the Night King has been moving full steam ahead. Season 7 ended with the Night King bringing his entire army south, and now that Bran is in Winterfell, this might be the Night King's next target. Bran Stark might be able to travel through time, but he cannot outrun the Night King forever. Fortunately for Bran Stark, he is not the only one who wants to stop the Night King. Most of Jon Snow's men are already in the north, and now that he has Daenerys Targaryen on his side, Winterfell should be well protected by the time the Night King arrives. But will Bran Stark be ready? Given Bran Stark's condition, we know he will never step foot on the battlefield. The type of service Bran will provide will take place somewhere else, which is inside of his head. During Season 7, we saw something that further hinted at the mysterious connection between Bran Stark and the Night King. We saw this when Bran sent out the Ravens to spy on the Night King. When Bran sent them into the far north, we were able to get a good look at the size of the Night King's army, but what happened next was very interesting. The Night King could sense Bran's presence, and that's when the Night King turned his head to the Ravens. When it happened, Bran could no longer control the birds, and it even made him snap back into his wheelchair. I think this goes to show the Night King still has more power than Bran. The Night King can enter his visions inside of the weirwood net, and he can even force him out of the animals he's controlling. The Night King can easily control his own powers because he's had thousands of years to practice. Bran has barely had enough time to train. It was basically a crash course. The weirwood net most likely holds the key to unlocking the Night King mystery. With the use of the weirwood net, Bran should be able to find the answers he has been looking for, but the only problem is, he doesn't know where to look. We have even heard Bran say this during at least 2 different scenes. The first one I want to show you is actually from a scene I played in my last video about Benjen Stark. Listen closely to what he says.
You are the three-eyed raven, no?
I didn't have time to learn. I can't control anything.
You must learn to control it before the Night King comes. Drink.
As you can see, Bran Stark has now become the new three-eyed raven, but he hasn't really had any time to learn everything. He is able to see things, but it's all in fragments. He's not able to control all the visions that are getting thrown at him. It's like one big information dump, and Bran has to try to put the puzzle together. Benjen tells him, you must learn how to control it before the Night King comes. So this is our first big clue in defeating the Night King. When Bran finally learns how to take control of the flashbacks and visions, he should be able to see what needs to be done to win. Now let's take a look at another scene, because almost the exact same thing is said again. You see, as we get closer to the end of the show, they continue to give us clues about what needs to be done to stop the Night King. This next scene actually gives us 2 clues, because Bran says something first, then he looks directly at the tree. Pay very close attention.
And the three-eyed raven.
I don't know what that means.
It means I can see everything. Everything that's ever happened to everyone. Everything that's happening right now. It's all pieces now. Fragments. I need to learn to see better. When the long night comes again, I need to be ready.
So as you can see, this conversation with Sansa is very close to the same conversation he had with his uncle Benjen. We know that Bran has now become the new three-eyed raven, but he is still trying to figure out how to interpret all these different things he is being shown. His uncle Benjen told him, you have to learn how to control it before the Night King comes. Then Bran says to Sansa, I need to learn how to see better before the long night comes. When Bran says I need to be ready, he looks at the weirwood tree. So what are they trying to tell us? Just like I told you in my last video, Benjen basically gave us the answer when he told us this.
You must learn to control it before the Night King comes. Drink. One way or another, he will find his way to the world of men. When he does, you will be there waiting for him. And you will be ready.
So we know Bran will be ready, which means by the end of next season, Bran will learn how to control all the visions and flashbacks. Next season, Bran Stark will be at the height of his powers. It's going to take more than just a simple sword fight to defeat the Night King. But what is it that's inside of the weirwood net that Bran is so desperately needing to learn? What possible answers are hiding inside of those trees? The answer must lie in the past, but what is it? How will Bran know where to find it? Well, Bran Stark now has a secret weapon of his own, and his name is Samwell Tarly.
I can see things that happened in the past. I can see things happening now, all over the world. Why did you come to Winterfell?
Jon's the one to lead the fight against the dead. I know he is. But he can't do it alone. So I've come here to help him.
According to Samwell Tarly, he knows Jon Snow is destined to lead the fight against the Night King, but their work behind the scenes will be just as vital. Sam is exactly what Bran needs to find the answers. They already made quick work of figuring out Jon Snow's real name, and the fact that Jon is made up of ice and fire will most likely play a big part in defeating the Night King as well. It can't just be any character that takes him down. It has to be someone or something very special, and finding out Jon is ice and fire might be the first step in figuring all this out. It's clear that Bran needs a bit of guidance. He can see all of history and everything unfolding in the present day, but he doesn't always know where to look. Samwell Tarly can help him separate the needles from the haystacks. Not just the truth about Jon Snow's parents, but also how to defeat or even kill the Night King for good. Once you start to put all the pieces together, it becomes quite clear that Bran will have to find the answers to stopping the Night King, and according to Uncle Benjen, he should be ready by the time the Night King gets there. Now the big question is, what the hell will Bran see inside of the weirwood net that could possibly help him? Could it have something to do with the legendary sword, Lightbringer? Was Melisandre right this whole time? Only she had her eyes set on the wrong person at first. We did see the ceremony she held on the beach of Dragonstone, where Stannis pulled the burning sword out of the statue's chest. Will Jon Snow have to do something like this next season?
In the ancient books it's written that a warrior will draw a burning sword from the fire. And that sword shall be Lightbringer.
Maybe Bran Stark will see something like this inside of the weirwood net. Then he will tell Jon this is what he must do. Who really knows? But all the clues have already been laid out before us. We just have to know where to look. However, some people say the Night King is not meant to die at all. If history is any proof, the others were defeated in the last battle for the Dawn. But keep in mind, they were defeated, not killed. This is where the whole ice and fire duality of the story comes into play. The two different ends of the spectrum. It doesn't matter if you put the scary White Walkers on one side and the magnificent dragons on the other. Ice and fire still remain two sides of the same coin. It's not going to be a battle between good and evil. There is no good or evil. It's going to be a battle between fire and ice. Many people believe Dany is a good queen, and the Night King is an evil monster. But could they flip the script in the end, with the reveal that Dany is not all good as she seems, and the Night King is not pure evil? Even Dany's right-hand man, Jorah Mormont, told us the very same thing.
Tempting to see your enemies as evil, all of them. But there's good and evil on both sides in every war ever fought.
Let the priests argue over good and evil.
He said it's very tempting to see your enemies as evil, but there's good and evil on both sides of every war that's ever fought. Daenerys and the Night King are both only trying to do what they feel they must. However, they have one big common denominator. They wreak havoc and destruction wherever they go. Ice and fire, fire and ice. Some people would say, what is the point of making it a Song of Ice and Fire if one of them is really just going to topple the other one over? Where's the surprise element? Fire and ice will clash, but maybe the Night King and the dragons just cancel each other out, and they both go back into hibernation for hundreds or thousands of years. But in due time, they could return and wreak havoc all over again. But let me know what you think will happen. What possible answers can Bran find inside of the weirwood net? Is there some perfect answer in killing the Night King? Or will he go back and look at how the last hero and the children of the forest ended the first long night? Let me know what you think. Put your thoughts or opinions down below in the comments section. Also, don't forget about the giveaway. There are only 2 weeks left to enter, using the link that is down below in the description of the video. The winner will be able to pick whichever shirt and size they would like. You can enter up to 5 different times to increase your chances of winning. Good luck everyone, and I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch the video. I really appreciate that. Along with everyone who continues to support the channel on Patreon. I hope you all have a great day. I will see you again very soon. Bye.